Hello and welcome to this week's Friday check-in. So this week has not been what I thought it would. I worked very diligently on writing my narrativism chapter. I basically got through all the new framing that I needed to do for the first half of the paper. So I didn't have anything assigned to that when I set out this week. So let's talk about the things that changed. I met with my advisor and I got some advice about some of the literature that I was reading as a result of my orals. Not orals. That was a traumatic experience. That's still in my mind. My dissertation proposal. I originally thought I was going to do these 5 readings, but I really read one of them and was convinced that this part of the literature may not be like that pressing compared to other elements. So rather than read the 5 things, I got through 2 that were inspired by the chunk of the literature I read last week. And one of these, which was on, why meditation is not mysticism, it was actually a book that a philosopher recommended to me, but the theology professor that I studied with, he wrote this article in there. So I read that and it kind of convinced me that maybe I don't need to address this issue in the particular thing I'm arguing. It's more like it's useful for me to know because people make associations between mysticism and meditation, but I have reasons now to kind of reject that premise if I get pressed on it. So as a result, I didn't read these last 2 pieces. I contacted the professor that recommended these to me, and he recommended a different piece that I hadn't had on the schedule. Basically, if I'm gonna read one thing, he thought I should read that one and decide if I want to engage in the other stuff. So rather than insert that reading into this week, which I wasn't originally planning, I basically used the time that I would have on readings to work on writing, because I was really prepared for writing after talking to my advisor for the first time in a while. I was really ready to go. So I just switched that. That work is not reflected in this list. I could have added it, and I thought about doing it, but I was enjoying the freedom of just being able to work on it and not think about which task am I doing on the writing, especially since the past couple weeks I felt like I was kind of, the writing wasn't going very smoothly of chapter 3. So giving myself some freedom, since I was really motivated for the narrativism chapter, worked out well. So the long and the short of this is I did a lot of work that's not reflected in this list. So we're gonna see I didn't do a lot of the stuff on the list, but I'm not too upset about that because I did other important work instead. So let's just jump on through it. For the 5 readings, the Zavi and the Peter Lambike, I don't really know how to say his last name. Those were very relevant to the narrativism chapter, so I punched through those. Like I said, I got to that one mysticism one, ditched these other 2. So I'm pretty happy with the progress I made in terms of readings for the week. I did free write. I actually did it 5 days of the week. Sorry, looks like I missed. So if I haven't said it before or you're new, welcome if you're new. Normally what I do is I put a box at the front, and we'll see down here, box at the front, box at the end. Box at the front means I've started the task, box at the end means I've finished it. On this list, I try not to rely on the 2-box method too much because I like to not give myself credit unless I've actually done the thing. I do work on Evernote with a accountability team, and there I note much more diligently the box at the start, box at the end, because that's just help. That tool is designed to encourage me to say okay, progress is being made. This tool is to really hold me accountable at the end of the week to say, did you really do all your shit or stuff, excuse me. So we got through the 5 readings. I did the free write, so I only planned to do it 4 days. I actually did it 5, but I gave myself full credit for that one, so that was good. I sent my old qualifying paper to Jeff for comments. I did not prep 3 classes, so I have moved on to the metaphysics unit of my course, and it's proving challenging in ways I didn't expect. So a lot of the readings that I picked out, I kind of think are too far down the pipeline. I've got to do some more prep work to get them into thinking about the issues the readings were about. So I'm having to reevaluate the readings, and rather than have my kind of lecture, which is a small component of the course, but rather than have that lecture be oriented towards the readings, I'm now having the lectures oriented towards the material that I think we need to cover, and then finding readings that complement that. So the long and the short of it is I prepped 2 classes instead of 3. Still pretty good. This week was bonus for class prep because I finished all my May goals, and according to my keeping track of the weeks, like this wasn't as pressing. I've got enough time to prep the classes for throughout June, and we'll be good. So that's fine. I didn't do the APA Canon post. Wanted to do it, ran out of time on Friday because I spent more time doing the readings for my reading group than I expected. I was going to revise the teaching statement. I just consciously decided not to do this. I think this is a task that's plausible for me to do over my upcoming trip. And it's one of the big tasks for June. It felt kind of premature to like prioritize that when I was doing so well in writing. I was having an issue with RefWorks where I wanted to cite, I have a category on RefWorks. RefWorks is my citation manager. I have a category that I wanted to basically generate a bibliography with just the content of that category. I couldn't figure out how to do it on RefWorks, and I contacted the relevant librarian, and she helped me work that out. So I got that done. I did not work on the Poland PowerPoint. I was indirectly working on the project since I was working on the narrativism chapter. So I was not actually working in PowerPoint and like developing what my presentation is going to look like, so I'm not going to check that off. I did print my summer master list, which is basically the syllabus that I have for summer. I wanted a copy of it in my planner, and I think I can show you what it looks like. It's not very fancy. This is it. This is my summer task list, but I've divided my 3 tasks, my 3 tasks. My 3 categories are writing, course prep, and job market stuff, and I have this through August, what I need to get done. So I've just been highlighting stuff as I finished it. So I printed that, got that going. I read the section of my intro to Indian philosophy for my reading group. This took longer than expected. I was getting a lot out of it, so I just kind of let myself take longer. I did this mandatory survey for MAP, which was just like reporting to the national organization what our chapter did this year or this semester. And I prepped for the Slack training for the graduate orientation ambassadors. I just taught them what Slack was and how we were going to use it. I did not address my library book. I still need to do that. So, you know, didn't get everything done. I'm okay with that. If we look at the other side, the 50% pull in PowerPoint didn't come through. 5 readings. I did as much readings as I wanted to this week, so that was fine. Obviously chill, that was fine. Car for the dad, got that done. Did the MAP survey, did the Slack training. I didn't quite get to 3 classes, I only did 2. So overall, not bad. I felt very productive. Work felt pretty easy this week, so I'm not gonna complain. It was overall good. Even if my list is a little less checked off than a lot of weeks. All right, well, thanks so much for checking in, and I will catch you guys next week.